Batanes is an archipelago of islands in the far north of the Philippines. It's one of the most remote parts of the country. But even in this secluded idyll, fake news abounds. And that's because earlier this year, a new phone mast connected the islands to the internet. Recent studies have dubbed the Philippines as the social networking capital of the world because internet users average nearly 4 hours of social media browsing every day.
It's about catcalling.
24-year-old Annalisa Zonia teaches on the island Itbayat. She doesn't have a TV or radio, so uses Facebook to catch up on news from the mainland. She says fake news is ubiquitous and confusing.
Here in the Philippines, there are so many biases when it comes to the government that they think, oh, this one is the hero, the other one is the liar, but some people say this is the hero and the other one is the liar. So who really is the one telling the truth?
I will kill more, if only to get rid of drugs.
President Rodrigo Duterte is also a keen social media user. During the 2016 election campaign, he utilized Facebook to win popular support. Later, he admitted paying trolls to boost his online campaign. Now the internet is awash with fake news attacking his critics. But back in the capital, Manila, social media is being used to stir another political battle.
President Marcos backed his warning by sending Marine units towards the camp where the military faction backing the opposition is holed up.
In the 1970s and 80s, the country was gripped by violence after President Ferdinand Marcos imposed martial law. Many people were arrested, tortured, and thousands were killed. It's estimated that the dictator's family stole $10 billion from the government's coffers, money that was never willingly returned. This is the People Power Monument, a cast iron reminder of the popular uprising against Philippine dictator Ferdinand Marcos in 1986. But there are some people in this country who will have you believe that it's simply the product of fake news. Recently, President Duterte's former assistant communications secretary posed this question to her 5 million Facebook followers.
Do you believe that the 1986 EDSA People Power is a product of fake news?
President Duterte is a known admirer of Ferdinand Marcos and has even tipped his son Bongbong as his potential successor. In September, Bongbong Marcos posted this video of an interview with his father's defense secretary, Juan Ponce Enrile, in which he denied there were political arrests during the martial law era.
Name me one person that was arrested because of political or religious belief during that period. None.
Both posts, condemned in the media as historical revisionism, come at a time when the Marcos family are attempting a political comeback. Next year, Ferdinand Marcos' daughter, Aimee, will stand in an election for a seat in the country's Senate.
Oh, there you are. This was when I was arrested, the second time around. I don't know why I was smiling, because I was tortured during this time.
80-year-old Etta Rosales is living proof of the dark side of politics. In 1976, she was detained for being an activist against Marcos' one-man rule. Miss Rosales was tortured and sexually abused by soldiers. She's outraged by the claims made by Mr. Enrile.
He shouldn't say that, because he knew he was the architect of martial law. He was the one responsible for signing any arrest. Of course, it is never explicit policy. No administration would ever write it down that it is our policy to torture, it is our policy to arrest illegally, it is our policy to kill. You're not going to have that. But it's been going on. And I'm testimony to that, because I'm a torture victim.
To understand the motives behind Mr. Enrile's recent statement in the Bongbong video, I met him at his home in Manila. He too is campaigning for a seat in the Senate next year. He's the oldest candidate at 94 years old.
You recently made a video with Bongbong Marcos, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., in which you were talking about history, and you said during martial law that there were no political arrests. Do you stand by that statement?
I did not say that.
No arrests related to political charges?
To say that, because I was the one who signed the warrants of arrest.
Are we living in a post-truth world where lies can be told and people can get away with that? That's what's happening?
That is given. In history, that by reading of history tells me that that has always been the case. And the historians, decades later, when the passions are gone, then they can objectively assess what really happened during that period. Was Enrile a demon or an angel? Was Marcos a dictator or a pacifist? What really happened?
In the past, leaders used divide and rule as a way of subduing their subjects. Now, in the Philippines, it appears fake news is the new weapon to confuse and control. Howard Johnson, BBC News, Manila.